Hey guys, it's the T with Stormy and Riley. Hope everybody's doing good on this Monday night. It's always fun. Um, we've gotten a little more of some responses and questions and stuff on the videos, so we're going to go over just a couple tonight because there are multitude of ways to answer both of these questions, so we can probably expand it out. So, but we're gonna start. I'm gonna ask Stormy a question, and then we'll go to me. So, um, one thing: what are some of the terms for the LGBT community, and what do they mean?
Okay. Well, the basics: the L is lesbian, the G is gay, the B is bisexual, the T is transgender. But there is a lot of other terms that go over both sexual orientation, which is, you know, who you are attracted to. And then there's also a lot of different terms for gender identity. Um, gender being, identity being, of course, the gender that you identify as, or genders that you identify as in some cases. Um, as far as sexual identity, there's, like, of course, the basics: lesbian, gay, bisexual. But there's also pansexual, which um, actually means attracted to all genders. So that includes transgender individuals as well, or non binary individuals, which we'll get to that in a second. Um, there, so then there's polysexual, which is like, it's very similar to pansexual, but it doesn't mean all, it just means multiple. But it's also different than bisexual because bisexual is male, female. It doesn't, you know, amass um, transgender individuals necessarily. Um, and then there's demisexual, which means to be intimate with somebody, you have to have a strong emotional connection with them. And then there's also asexual, which basically means that you're not sexually attracted
To anyone, right?
to anyone. You can be romantically attracted to somebody, but you're not sexually attracted to anybody. There's a lot of ways people I can identify. That's really just a small portion. It's the ones I can think of off the top of my head right now. But
The non-binary. Did you go over that?
well, I haven't gone over gender identity.
Oh, you're still on the sexual.
I was just going over sexual orientation. So there's a lot of those. And then with gender identity, there's, of course, transgender, which you can be a trans man or a trans woman. And trans can also include the non binary, which means that you don't necessarily identify as male or female, or in some cases, it can be you identify as male certain times and female other times. It's kind of can be a broad thing. So
that can depend on the day, or depending on the person. It can honestly depend on the time of day. It just
a lot of or it could be they just don't identify as either male or female ever.
Yeah.
And like they them pronouns. So all right. On to Riley's question. What is some advice for anyone who has questioned their gender identity?
that one, I mean, if you're honestly, my personal opinion on it is, view, if I could correct myself, would be like if anybody who's in the LGBT community, like I feel like at some point you have that battle of and kind of like an identity crisis. I mean, myself, my situation was that I fought it for so long, saying that I was just a lesbian and that I just liked women, and then going to it and be like, no, there's something deeper down. I mean, it's a battle. It is, but you gotta, eventually some people, take a little longer to be able to, find a side and win the battle, or per se. But some people, it happens earlier in life, and you just gotta. I mean, there are, the girly girls, and then tomboys, and kind of like what what we just talked about, non-binary. You could be more masculine one day, and then the next day, you're a femi, you're effeminate, you're
more feminine.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the word. And so it can be a constant battle. It just kind of depends on where you lie with that. But where you feel the most comfortable, stick with it. Don't try and,
And don't do it for anyone else.
Don't do it for anybody else. If you do that for anybody else, you're just hurting yourself so much more. And you've gotta be selfish. It took me a long time to learn that you really need to be selfish sometimes and do for you. You do you, boo-boo. Like, you need to be able to be comfortable with yourself. You need to, even some of those people who, you think and you wish that, that they'll support you and they'll be in your life to be able to help you push through with what you need to get done, because it just doesn't feel right. And sometimes you need to boot those people out of your life. It's not easy by any means, but to be more comfortable with yourself, again, you need to be selfish. At least a little bit. A lot of it, depending on how much, support or no support that you have. But you just gotta find where you feel most comfortable. And if you're having that, kind of like, well, I can be girly, and some days, I have more of a masculine stance, or I just, I feel more, tough. Not tough, because that's not the right term, but, I just feel more masculine today than I did yesterday. So I'm going to today identify as that, as male. But, and then just, your friends, your family who is, supportive of what you need to do, ask them to, continue on using those pronouns, whatever you prefer. And then if one feels more comfortable, that's, stick with it. But it's not, you don't have to just stick it with, there's A and B. That's an alphabet soup for a reason. There's multiple ways of being able to, identify yourself as. You're not, vanilla and chocolate. There's other flavors. So, but, yeah. So, that's my view on it. But I hope that helps.
If anybody is, questioning or anything, hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, and another one too, don't bottle it up. Talk with somebody. if something is bothering you, you know, talk to a friend, talk to family, talk to anybody who, you know, who will listen. Honestly, like, if you ever have any personal questions that you don't want, you know, necessarily to be, you know, on on the internet or anything like that, just ask somebody. Ask somebody in the LGBT community, and they're more than, you know, most of them are more than willing to, you know, answer whatever. I know me and Stormy, we're, you know, we're open books. You have a question, message us. We'll answer it in the best possible way that we, you know how to. But like, if you're having an issue and you are battling with yourself so hard that it is just mentally crippling you, talk to somebody, because bottling it up will just lead to an explosion that is not good. And it's better to talk it out versus something bad happening. And personally, if someone needs just someone to listen, you know, message me or Stormy. We're right here. We don't mind. And it's, you know, there are advocates everywhere for anybody. So, just gotta find one or find somebody, and you'll be good. So, was that, just had those two, right?
Yep, we just had the two.
Okay.
So, you know, as usual, go ahead and leave comments. Any questions you've got, and we will be back next week.
Yep.
With some more questions. Bye.
All right, bye.